welcome to day 11 of Mrs. Lambert's math group. Today we're going to be doing some more word problems. Before we begin, I want to go over one of the problems from a few weeks ago or a few days ago. I was going through correcting and there are, I think, some people that are getting some things confused. So I'm going to review that problem first and redo it and explain why I'm doing it, and then move on to the problems that are for today. So you'll notice that the color of my slides is a little bit different for the first problem because that is the review problem. And then they go into the bright pink, which stands for the next set of problems for us for today. So just so you're not confused on to why there's different colors or to why I'm doing 3 problems instead of 2, it's just to show you that there are some things that we need to review. Okay, are you ready? All right, here we go. Let's review this question. All right, so this one says, Brittany solved 42 math problems on her homework tonight. That's 6 times more than last night. How many problems did Brittany solve last night? Okay, so here's what I want to go over. When we were starting to do these, the original one gave us a unit and then times X amount. This one is working backwards. They're giving us the end amount and wanting us to figure out the smaller amount. So if we just look at what this says, so it says tonight. So I'm going to put a T for tonight, and then we're going to do last night. So before I draw any bar models, because that's what I think we should do, is I'm going to list what they gave us. So they say that tonight she solved 42 problems. Last night she did, that's 6 times more than she did last night. So we don't know how many she did last night. Okay, so what I wanted to point out here is that when it says that she did 42 tonight and that's 6 times more than last night, that's saying that tonight's is way more than last night's. So the last night's number is going to be smaller. Many of you made it so that it was 42 times 6. That's not what it's saying. It's not saying that she did 6 times more last night. It's saying tonight is 6 times more than last night. Okay? So when it says that this is more, that means it's going to become a division problem, not a multiplication problem. Okay? So here's how this looks. So I'm going to just draw a bar model, a big bar model. Okay? They gave us that it was 42. Well, they gave us that we don't know what her unit is yet for last night. Okay? But we do know that it's, to get to this night, it's 6 times more. So that's where this box is going to be broken up into 6 pieces, okay? Because we only have one amount here and 6 times more for tonight, okay? This is where the word problems get a little complex with the wording, okay? I'm going to cut it into thirds. I'm going to cut it again in half because that'll give me 6 pieces. Okay. So now this representation makes sense. So I'm going to go through and read it to you again. So it says that Brittany solved 42 problems tonight. That's 6 times more than last night. So is 42 6 times more than last night? Yes, because last night is 1 unit and tonight is 6 times more. Okay? So it's just working a little bit differently. So now if I was to solve this, this would end up being 42 divided by how many boxes are here? 6. Gives us what this number would be. Okay? Now, if this is too hard for you to kind of look at and figure it out, remember we can switch it into a multiplication sentence. So this would change to 6 times some number gives me 42. Okay? I also believe for this, especially this type of problem, is the number bond really seems to help. So if I did, my big number is 42, and I have 2 factors that make up 42. Well, they only give us 1 factor, which is 6. So now I can use my knowledge of this becomes much more familiar to me because we've done those fact cards, but it becomes this is the product and these are the 2 factors. So what times 6 will give me 42? Well, that's a math fact, so it will become 7. 6 times 7 is 42. So last night was 7. Okay, so I can fill that in. Now, the reason I always draw the bar model is because then it's easy for me to solve questions like what we just said. So if I was to try to double check this, well now, if I took what I did last night and put in here all the 7s, well, Well, now I have 6 sevens, and that's 6 times more than last night. All right? So I'm not going to write the number. I'm not going to write the answer because this is just a review problem. But I hope that this clarifies some of this. I believe this was day 4 and on. Okay? And the reason I'm making the redo of this is because today's problem is taking the next step. So all of last week's problems were like this, and maybe a little bit like the first week's, but most of them were like this plus another step. Today's is very different. So I just want to make sure that before you start today's, please review last week. So it would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? And I think it started to change at the end of the first week, which was like day 4 or 5. So just double check those problems. I'm in the process of correcting them. So I've been trying to leave comments as I go. I'll be setting up some Zoom meetings with some of you to kind of just review this. All right. If you have any questions, please let me know. All right, here, let's move on to our next problem. I'm going to erase this and make it so we have a clean slate for our new topic. So let's read our next question for today. All right, here's today's questions. Drew drew 54 pictures of hearts. Bo drew 54 pictures of hearts and 5 pictures of stars. Then he drew 7 swirls and 15 zigzags. How many times more hearts than stars did Bo draw? So again, this is where it changes, okay? So let's figure out what he has. So we know that the things that he drew was he drew hearts. I'm going to put the word stars because there's 2 S's in our word problem, so stars. And then I'm going to put swirls. And I'm going to put a Z for zigzags. Okay? So we know that he drew 54 pictures of hearts. So we know that. So I'm just going to start with this. 54 pictures of hearts. We know that he drew this is not correct. It's supposed to be 6 pictures of stars. So we're going to put that here. 6 pictures of stars. Then he drew 7 swirls. And then he did 15 zigzags. All right, I'm just going to fix that in our word problem real quick so that we know that it was a mistake. It's supposed to be 6. Yep. 6. Okay. So now they want to know how many more times hearts than stars did he draw. So this is just extra information that we don't need in our problem. Okay? So because we don't need this problem, we're just going to ignore it for now. It'll come into play for the second problem. Okay? So we have 54 and we have 6. So this is going to be similar to what I just did on the last page. This is going to be one big bar model, okay, and equals 54. And then this is going to be our unit, and this is going to be 6. Now this one differs from what we've been doing, where we know that whatever this is would tell me how many boxes I should cut this up into. That's what we're trying to figure out today. So now we know the number of group in each group, but we don't know how many groups. Right? So today's lesson, and I think this whole week will be similar to this. So if I was to set this up, what it would look like is it would be 54 divided by some number gives us 6. Well, because of the commutative property, we can switch these around. So it can become 54 divided by 6 equals some number. Okay? We can also flip it to a multiplication problem, which is what I'm going to do. It's going to be 6 times what will give me 54. Okay? Now if I do my number bond, it'll be 54 up here, and then my 2 factors. So they give us the number 6, but they don't give us the missing factor. So it becomes what times 6 will give me 54? Well, the answer is 9. 6 times 9 will give me 54. And one of the strategies you can use is what times 6 will get me super duper close to 54? Well, I know that 6 times 10 will bring me to 60. So that's a little bit over. So if I take out 1 6, so 60 minus 6 will bring me to 54. That means it's 9. Okay, that's just how I kind of did it in my head. So it'll be 6 times 9 is 54. So I know that he drew 6 stars. So how many times more is that to get to 54? It's 9. So this box would then be cut up into 9 pieces. Okay, so I cut it into thirds, and then I cut each one of those into 3 parts. That should give me 9 boxes. Okay, so how many times more hearts than stars did he draw? 9 times. So we're going to write that down here. Bo drew 9 times more hearts. That's not how you spell hearts. Than stars. Okay? So again, this is a little bit tricky, so please reach out if you're struggling. Okay, let's move on to our next problem. The next problem says, using the information from problem 1, how many drawings did Bob doodle altogether? Okay, so now we do need all this information, okay? But the good thing about this is there's not a lot of trying to figure it out. We already have the numbers. We know he drew 54, we know he drew 6, we know he drew 7, and we know he drew 15. So that's already kind of given to us. So we're just going to add up all those totals, and that'll be our answer. So here we go. 54 plus, I usually do the bigger numbers all the way down to the smaller numbers, but that's just my preference. You can do it however. So I did 54, 15, 7, and then 6. Okay, the first thing we do in an addition problem, or subtraction, whatever, in addition, we look for tens facts. So I can see that there is a tens fact. We have 4 and 6 make 10. And then we have 5 and 7. So 5 and 7. So to get to 10, it's 7 plus 3. So if I take that 3 out of 5, probably that makes 2 left. So this would be 12. So 5 and 7 is 12 plus our 10 makes 22. Here, now I add these up. 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many drawings did he make? He did 82 drawings. So let's do that. Bo, I keep calling him Bob. Bo doodled 82 drawings. Okay, did we read it? Yes. Did we write it? Or did we draw it? Yes. And did we write it? Yes. Okay, very good. If you have questions, reach out, and I'm looking forward to talking to some of you. All right, stay safe. I miss you all. Bye-bye.